Writing algebraic functions by composition. Alrighty, given the functions as described below, determine each of the following. We have to find h of 4. Here's what I like to do. Instead of writing an x, let's go ahead and replace any instance of x with a nice empty set of parentheses. Then all we have to do is inside those parentheses put the number that we're trying to plug in. And then at this point you can do it by hand, you can do it in a calculator, however you want to approach it, but you end up with 16 plus 3, I believe that's 19. All right, same thing happens for the next one. We're going to write down x, but instead of an x, empty parentheses, plus 5. Inside those, you've got a -1. And again, calculator, by hand, in your head, however you want to do it, you end up with 4. Okay, let's now combine them. Here, for number 33, we are going to find h of g of -1. In other words, we're going to find g of -1. Well, we already did that. That's right here. We found that it is 4. And what we'll do is build h around it. So we're basically finding h of 4 now. Well, h of 4, again, we already found that one, 19. So there we go. That's our first evaluating a number inside of a composition. All right, here's another one. We're going to start by writing b of x, but instead of the x, nice empty set of parentheses there. Inside of those parentheses, we'll go ahead and put down our input value, -25. Okay, again, by hand, calculator, in your head, whatever you want to do. I do believe that's going to give us -96. Repeat the process. 3x minus 4. Again, the x got replaced by a nice happy empty set of parentheses. And inside those parentheses, we'll go ahead and put that number that we're evaluating. Calculator, by hand, whatever your favorite flavor is, we end up with -25. And here we go. Now we're going to do b of g of -7. Notice the way it's written is different. However, it does mean the same thing. I could have just as easily have written it as b of g of -7, written it that way. Both mean the same thing. You could see it in either way in like a test or work or something like that. So the first thing we find is g of -7. Well, we already know what that is. That's going to be -25. And then build around that, we're going to find b of -25. And that gives us -96. And there we go. That is evaluating a number by composition. Here's another one. We don't have it already set up for us, so we do need to do the process. Okay? What's going to happen here is we're going to do f of something, but we don't know what's going to go here yet because we need to figure out what g of 5 would actually be. Okay? Do what I said before. Write your x, which is an empty parentheses now, minus 5x squared. And inside those, we'll put our input of 5. Once again, go ahead and calculator in your head. In either instance, you end up with 125 minus 125. So what we're plugging in is 0. And we go ahead and find f of 0. Okay, we replace the x with a nice empty set of parentheses. Inside there, we'll put the 0, and we get negative 4. So f of g of negative 5 is negative 4. Let's finish up with this one here. We are doing something slightly different in that we only have one function. We're actually going to be plugging the function into itself. All right, we're going to do h of something. We just don't know what it's going to be because it has to be the output of h of 8. Using the same process, write it down. X squared minus 1 minus 2x. And inside those parentheses that replaced our x's, we'll go ahead and put a pair of 8's in there. Calculator by hand, however you want to do it. Let's say that's going to be 64. Then minus 16 minus 1, I want to say that is 47. Out of paranoia, I'll just go ahead and check that, make sure that I did it right. 64 minus 1 minus 16. Yep, it is 47. So now we're looking for h of 47. We're going to write the exact same thing when it comes to the open parentheses for the x squared minus 1 minus 2 times x, but this time the number that you're plugging in is 47. And again, calculator, since there's no letters, we can go ahead and just punch it in. That's probably what I would say to do rather than trying to figure out 47 squared on your own. But the answer for this one, I just did that, is going to be 2,114. So that is our answer to h of 8. And there you go. That is how to do composition evaluating of a number. See you next time.